This is going to be a tough topic for me because it hits me in a really tender spot. Today I'm talking about. Welcome back to Brown Girl Blue. My name is Tabitha, and on this channel I talk about my memories growing up as a child in the Jehovah's Witness religion. Today I want to discuss about college. So there was a time, I do believe that some of the policies regarding college has changed, I believe. But I know that when I was being raised in that religion, the thought was that college was something that was not recommended. The thought was that going to a college or a university would take too much time away from serving God, who they called God Jehovah, would take too much time from serving Jehovah and His mission for you on this earth, and your time would be better spent pursuing spiritual goals, such as being uh, having a life in full time ministry, which is called field service work in the Jehovah's Witness culture, or possibly going to Bethel, which is an all kind of volunteer Bible education place that young people are encouraged to go to and dedicate their full life or a certain amount of time to go and serve volunteer work at that establishment. So, what I remember growing up as a kid in the, looking at those pre-college years, the late 80s and early 90s, graduated high school in 1992. So around 88, 89, I was starting to do the things to go to school, to go to college. They were talking about the pre-SAT around 10th grade, getting ready to take the SAT, prepare for college. Also looking at your courses in high school to get you ready for the college curriculum. Well, during that era, there was a lot of discussion amongst Joe Witness meetings, particularly in the Watch Harbor Study Group, which was the meeting that was held after the primary Sunday meeting. And there were a lot of information about avoiding the dangers of college and university life. And I remember there were a lot of like bullet points about the things that you could be exposed to if you allow your children to go to college or university. Things like smoking, bad association, exposure to alcohol, making various uh, immoral decisions, such as possibly having relationships before marriage, and just all these things that you're going to encounter wherever you go in the world, not just college or university. But there was this big fear campaign of all the work that you have done to raise this perfect Jehovah's Witness kid could be completely demolished and eradicated if you allow them to be exposed to a college or university lifestyle. There was an agreement that if you must go and increase your secular education, then how about taking the shorter route and going to a technical school or possibly a community college, because it would be closer to home and you would have better control over your children and the decisions that they were making in their young adult life. Even though that was kind of the compromise, the overall push was to really negate all of that and pursue a life in full time ministry work, which for women, you can become a pioneer, which is someone who gets a certain amount of hours in ministry work. I think it was called, oh gosh, I can't remember all the titles. It was regular pioneer and I think auxiliary pioneer. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I can definitely go back later and add a correction as well. But there were different statuses of ministry work that you can do. And of course, if you're really serious and really committed, you could be a special pioneer, which means that's all you did. And you usually go to some other part of the world where the need was great, or where there was a need for increased ministerial service, missionary work in those areas. So back to college. So yeah, the overall arching uh, recommendation was not to attend university and not to focus on secular education, but rather focus on the spiritual development of your Jehovah's Witness life. So it was time for me to go to college. My parents were not in agreement with that. And there were a lot of conversations with my parents where I always walked away feeling upset and betrayed and angry because I valued my education and I was really good in school and I really wanted to, my goal was to be an orthopedic surgeon. I always loved the medical community. That was always something that I wanted to pursue. So going through the years of high school and taking my advanced placement courses, also known as AP courses, doing really well with my coursework, getting a lot of recommendations from my teachers and my guidance counselors, all encouraging me to continue my education with college pursuits. So my senior year, I took my SAT. I taken the PSAT, the 10th, 11th grade, so doing all the right things to get ready for university life. I applied to several schools with the help of my guidance counselor. My parents did not know because I knew that I was not going to get any support from them. So I applied to a lot of universities. I got accepted into the school of my choice, and that was UNC Chapel Hill in North Carolina. They had an excellent pre-med program. I am still to this day a Tar Heel fan, and that was a school that I wanted to attend. Now, I'll also remind you that when I graduated high school, I was 18 and I was able to make my own decisions, but you also have to look at the context of my life to that point, to where when you are raised in a culture and a religion that does not create an atmosphere for advanced critical thinking or your ability to think for yourself, you are under this kind of mind control or brainwashing that you have no say in how your life should go when you become a young adult. And so I was still under that mind control, even though I was old enough to make my own decisions. In my mind, I was still, a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid, waiting to get permission from my parents to do anything. There wasn't this gradual progression of young adolescent, pre-adult development that allows you to step confidently into your adult life. That just wasn't there for me. So when I stepped into my school, I was accepted into the pre-med program, and I brought I got my letter in the mail. I knew I was accepted because the letter was a little thick. When you got a letter that was declining, it was really thin because you only got one little letter saying thank you for your application, but at this time, yeah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I said, oh, it feels thick. I feel like I'm probably going to get accepted. So I opened the letter. It was this beautiful letterhead from UNC Chapel Hill, nicely embossed. Said, "Dear Tabitha Payton, congratulations. We are happy to invite you to join our Tar Heel family and to the pre-med program." And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, I just felt like they accepted me. Like, oh my gosh, like I really am smart. Like, UNC Chapel Hill accepted me. And so my mom saw the letter, and my mom at the very beginning just cut me down and telling me that you're not going anywhere. You're not going to college. You're not going to do this. You're not going to leave us. And sometimes when something traumatic happens, you can't quite remember all the pieces all the time. And I think it was either my mom or my dad, one of them, ripped my letter. And as they were ripping it, like, what was the point of ripping it? Of course I know now as I've gone through life, that was a power play to show them, for them to show me they had complete control over my life. But to be so spiteful and to not want your child to progress is I talked about that narcissistic behavior in my last video about having that control of someone else's life for your benefit, for the other person's benefit. And they ripped that letter up, my beautiful UNC Chapel Hill that I could have kept forever as a memory, or like, oh, this is when I got accepted into school. No, they didn't want me to have the memory of that experience. And so they ripped it up and said, you're not going. And I just remember just crying and just feeling defeated and deflated and all those things that go with that. And then my dad, I don't know if he felt really bad or what his angle was, but he said, well, you know what? You can always go to the community college. It's just like 30 minutes from the house. So you can get, you can go into physical therapist assistant program. And when I think back, my dad has always had problems with his back, and he would go to physical therapy quite often, and I would go with him. And I think he made that suggestion because he wanted his own kind of in home caregiver. And they thought, oh, well, if she goes to the school, then that'll save me from going out and having to pay for physical therapy service. My daughter can just do that. And so I conceded, and I went to Nash Community College. Of course, I got into that program, it's based on my school records, and the kind of student that I presented. I very easily got into the program. I did the program, graduated within 2 years, and then practiced that profession for over 20 something years. Now, eventually, I did go back to school, and I did get did receive my bachelor's degree and later on my master's degree as an adult learner. But during that magical period when you're in high school, when your whole life is in front of you and you never get that back, that excitement of what the possibilities are, the excitement of just doing something. First time in high school, no one's telling you what to do anymore. You're in this new environment. And just having the experience of being a young adult and figuring out life and be able to take that walk. And also to go in the direction that I chose. I wanted to go into medicine. I wanted to become an orthopedic surgeon. Actually, I wanted to be a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. That was the life path that I saw for myself. That's why I was always interested in medicine throughout as far back as I can remember. I always had the little medicine kit you get from the dollar store. I had my little stethoscope, my little medicine bag, with the universal icon for healthcare that was on it. And I always had this heart of helping people feel better. And again, I could have made the decision to tell my parents to, and go and do my own thing. But because of my personality, because I was raised, all these things, I didn't think I had that right to do that because I equated it with morality, meaning that if I chose to do my own thing outside of my parents' thoughts and beliefs, that was considered being sinful. And simple means death because you're displeasing to Jehovah. That's not what he wants for your life. And so my thought was, oh, I have to obey my parents at the sacrifice of my life. You get this one life to live it the best way that you see. And I didn't do that. And so it took some years for me to forgive myself for allowing to making that decision, that choice to concede to their wishes when everything inside of me was telling me it was wrong. Everything inside of me was telling me, hey, this is not the choice for you. This is not something that you want to do. This is not something that's in your path. And I completely pushed all those feelings down, all those feelings and emotions down, and did what I was told to do. And physical therapy was it was a great career. I made it work. I brought all of my talent to that field and served it the best way that I could. And I did that for 26 years. And last year, I left that field to pursue something that I wanted to pursue, which I'm currently doing now. It's not medicine, but it's something in an area that I now find fulfillment in this time in my life. So college, university, I was looking at some of the information that's out now for witnesses. There's still that undertone where they have that little fear component of encouraging, not encouraging full commitment to a secular education, but you can if you want. But really, still, that recommendation is the preference would be to be able to pursue a full-time life in ministry work. But when I was a child, there was no, it didn't appear to be optional. It was very hard alignment with this is what you should do if you want to be received as a good witness. You need to make sure your children are not making that a priority in your life in regards to secular education, but the priority should be the work of ministry, missionary service and doing what you can to advance the organization and for having a fulfilling spiritual life. And my thought is you can do both. You can have a spiritual life, whatever that means to you. If you're of Christian faith, you can have the Bible and try to live those principles to the best of your ability, as well as having a successful secular life as well. They can go hand in hand. And so to teach that type of understanding that you can only do one of the other is highly misleading, in my opinion, and also in my experience. So, just thinking about the heartache of, I still think about it from time to time, of just being deliberately taken off your path by someone else or some action and allowing that to happen. And when you look back in hindsight and say, gosh, I wish I had made a different decision. I wish I had made a different choice and not allow them to use fear tactics to keep me from living the life that I wanted to lead. But life has a way, and I am doing something now that I really do enjoy, even though it's not what my and Tabitha, who was 18 years old, what those dreams were. I still have my dreams that I am working towards at this stage of being 51. And we only get one life. We only get one life. And one of the many things I learned from my experience as I look back is never allowing anyone to divert you from the dreams that you want. You have something inside of you that tells you what is for you, and to not allow anything or anyone to distract you or divert you from that dream that you have. So I say to my 18-year-old self, the one who was heartbroken at that time in her life, that, you know, everything is okay now. Everything is okay. And we are now living the life that we want to live. And life can only get better because we're not going to let anything get in the way of of getting to our dreams. So thank you for watching. If you have any experiences or stories that you would like to share about if you wanted to go to college or university and you remember when the teachings were to not go because of the work should be focused on your spiritual education, that was more important, and to negate the other part of your life. If you have any experience like that, please share with me. I would love to read what your experiences were. Thank you for watching another episode of Brown Girl Blue, and I will see you next time.